the next day on the day of Arafah. And again, and this is a general trend that you will see all across Hajj, people tend to neglect the days of Hajj by sitting around and talking idly and just chatting. And this is really a great tragedy that a person, he has come all the way, spent so much money, and then he wastes all that time sitting and talking and gossiping and basically wasting the time. So the day of Tarwiyah, a person needs to start thinking about the next day and thinking about how he's going to utilize the next day and mentally preparing himself for the most important day of Arafah, which is going to take place the next day. Slide number 15. Pray in Masjid al-Hayy if you can, which is in Mina. It is reported that 70 prophets actually prayed in this masjid. If you can go there, it's walking distance. It is a bit of a walk, but you can pray there if you can. Again, it's not mandatory to pray there, but if you can, you should try to do that. Here's an aerial view of Mina and Muzdalifah again, slide number 16. This is the area of the Jamarat, the new Jamarat. Okay? And it's become very, very convenient now to do the Rami without being crushed or being, pushed around. It is quite easy to do the Rami now. But still, people need to be a little bit careful. And we're going to discuss, inshallah, how the best way to perform the Rami is. This is a view of Masjid al-Hayy at night. This is a picture, again it's on slide 16, of Masjid Bay'atul Aqaba, where the Prophet ﷺ did Bay'atul Aqaba, Bay'ah, with the Sahaba. It was a very historical Bay'ah or pledge of allegiance that took place with the Prophet ﷺ, and this is the masjid that is still standing at the spot where that happened. Here's a picture, slide number 19, of Mina in 1885. Obviously, you can see that the people that performed Hajj were not in their millions at that time, but still sizable amount of people used to come to perform the Hajj in those days also. Now, on the 9th of Dhul-Hijjah is when you leave for Arafah. Okay, and this will be done after Fajr. Sometimes what your tour operator will tell you is try to leave in the middle of the night. And again, a lot of people get hung up on this issue of, well, it's sunnah to leave after Fajr. Okay. What you should try to do is try to listen to your travel agent and try to adhere to what he is trying to tell you. Yes, there are things which are sunnah. The Prophet ﷺ actually just performed one Hajj in his lifetime. So he only had the opportunity to just perform leaving Arafah and going to the places at one time only. Alright? So the scholars have actually talked about this issue and discussed it, and they have mentioned that sometimes when there's a need to leave early or to leave a little bit late, it is permissible to do so. What you will get is many people within the group, they will have their Hajj book with them, say, no, look, the Prophet ﷺ left for Arafah, he left Mina for Arafah, after Fajr, I'm going to leave after Fajr. And this basically is going to cause a hindrance to the rest of the group. Okay? It's not mandatory to leave after Fajr. If you can, and without inconveniencing others, you can do that, but do not become a hindrance for the rest of the group by insisting that, no, I'm going to go by the book. I'm going to do everything by the book, because the book says this, the Prophet ﷺ did this, so I'm going to do this. Okay? Like I said, the Prophet, he only did Hajj once in his lifetime. I'm pretty sure that if he did Hajj twice in his lifetime, he would have done these arkan at different times to show the people that it is permissible to be a little bit flexible in those times. Okay? And this is, like I said, it's an issue which has been discussed by the scholars. Just listen to the tour operator and the travel agent and go along with what they are telling you. So you leave for Arafah, leave Mina for Arafah on the 9th of Dhul Hijjah, and preferably, like I said, it's after Fajr, but if not, whatever your tour operator tells you. And most of you will probably be taking the train. Okay, and this is a huge convenience as compared to previous years. It's just like high-speed train takes you from one spot to the other, and really there's no waiting around in traffic. Very, very easy, very, very convenient. Alhamdulillah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has enabled this thing to happen for us, whereas in previous years we would have spent many, many hours in traffic. Here's the picture of Arafah from above. Slide number 22. The excellence of the day of Arafah. Prophet ﷺ said there is no day on which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala frees more of his slaves from the fire than the day of Arafah. He draws near, then places them before the angels, saying, what do they see? And the hadith goes on. This day is the most important day. It is the day of Hajj. As the Prophet ﷺ said, Al-Hajj Arafah. Hajj is Arafah. And if you miss standing on Arafah on this day, then your Hajj is null and void. Your Hajj is incomplete. You have to be within the boundaries of Arafah on the 9th of Dhul Hijjah, even if it's for a few minutes. If you were standing on Arafah with the intention of Hajj, even for a few minutes, your Hajj is complete. And if you do not, then your Hajj is incomplete. These are slides of Arafah. So what you do is once you arrive at Arafah, and you try to rest a little bit, and then at Dhuhr time, you pray Dhuhr and Asr combined, and you would listen to a khutbah by the Imam. Usually every 10th there's going to be an Imam going to give a lecture, and then after that, Dhuhr and Asr will be prayed combined. Now, a lot of people get hung up on this issue about, especially in Hanafi fiqh, this issue of are you supposed to combine the prayers or not? And the issue is that even within Hanafi fiqh, there are differences of opinion among the Hanafi scholars about the combining of the prayers on the day of Arafah and in Muzdalifah. Okay, so do not make it a huge issue. Do not become stubborn, start making noise. No, it's not permissible. It's not correct to do that. If the group is praying, combining the Dhuhr and Asr, you go ahead and combine the Dhuhr and Asr, and do not make an issue out of it. There is flexibility in the issue, and as we know, it is the sunnah to do it, and the reason that the Hanafi scholars they say that it's not permissible is because in some cases what used to happen, the local Imam, the Imam was local, he's not a musafir, and yet he comes and leads the prayer, and he, not being a musafir, he leads the prayer, and he shortens the prayer, and he combines. So that's why they're saying the opinion became an issue that how come he's not a musafir, he's a local Imam, but yet he is shortening the prayer and combining the prayer. It would not be permissible for him to do that. But when you are in Arafah, what's going to happen? You're going to be praying in your own tent. And when you pray in your own tent, your Imam is going to be a musafir, he's going to be traveling with you. So really there's no issue. So you combine Dhuhr and Asr together, and you combine Dhuhr and Asr together, and you shorten them 2 rak'ahs each. Okay, after the khutbah by the Imam. Now the issue of Masjid Namira. Masjid Namira is the masjid that is in Arafah. Okay? Now you have to be very, very careful about this issue of going to Masjid Namira. Because half of Masjid Namira is in Arafah, and half of Masjid Namira is outside of Arafah. So say for example, you say, okay, I'm going to make i'tikaf in the masjid all day, in Masjid Namira. It is the place where the Prophet ﷺ gave the khutbah and all the rest of the stuff. So I'm going to stay here because this is the most, or one of the most precious places that I'm going to spend my time in. The issue is that if you're not careful, you could be spending all of your time outside of Arafah, even though you may be inside the masjid. Okay? And there is actually a slide which mentions that. See that yellow line? That's the Arafah border, which is on slide 25. Are you going through it? 25? Good? Okay. See, on the back, it is Arafah, and on the front, you are outside Arafah. So the best thing for you to do is, first of all, it's going to be very difficult for you to get into the masjid in the first place. Alright? So, if you are not patient, then don't bother going to the masjid. Just stay in your tent and listen to the khutbah given by the imam, who is going to give you a khutbah for you anyway. If you have patience and you can spend all day at this masjid, then by all means go, but be careful that you spend at least some time in the back of the masjid, which is within the boundaries of Arafah, and not in the front of the masjid, which is outside the boundaries of Arafah. Okay, slide 26 says that it may be difficult to go to Masjid Namira because of the crowd, in which case you may train your camp with your group. This saves a lot of time. Okay, the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ is to combine Dhuhr and Asr prayers, regardless of whether you train in the camp, in the masjid, or any other location in Arafah. After Salat, move to your place inside the limits of Arafah, stand facing the Qibla, raising your hands, making dua, and reciting talbiyah. Okay, standing in Arafah is the most praiseworthy thing. Standing in Arafah and standing outside in the sun, that is the most praiseworthy thing. That you stand in the heat and you basically make dua as much as possible on this day. That's why it's called Qiyam Arafah. Qiyam, standing in Arafah. If you have any weakness or illness, it's okay, you can go inside the tent, usually air-conditioned tents, and you can spend your time inside there. But the most praiseworthy thing is to stand and to make dua and make istighfar, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept the Hajj. And like I said, this day is the most important day of Hajj, and it should be utilized in the best way possible by making dua, istighfar, and tawbah, and so on. What is the best dua to make on the day of Arafah? In slide number 28. The best dua, the Prophet ﷺ said, the best thing that I and the Prophet have said on the evening of Arafah is, لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير. لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له له الملك وله الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير. What we usually refer to as Chotha Kalima, or the fourth Kalima. Okay? So that is the best thing that you can do. These are various pictures of Arafah. The aerial view of Arafah from here, on slide number 30.